Welcome back to the Doormats podcast. Another beautiful day in sunny Michigan.
I know. The weather's bipolar right now.
Yeah, it's both humid and hot and dark out.
Yeah.
In case anyone
I know. What is it about, like, there's not much sunlight? Like, it's, like, warm, but cloudy and gray.
Yeah, they're like, we have to keep them depressed at all costs.
Yeah. Everyone's, like, deficient in vitamin D here.
For sure.
You should take supplements.
Me specifically. Well, in general,
we've talked about you take no supplements.
You say that like everyone takes it. You take like no supplements.
Yeah, I'm just kind of fanatic about. No, I don't take that many, but I do try and take like iron, vitamin D, like calcium.
I see your point though, because it is not like you're telling me to do something excessive. It's that I'm below the bar for like I just
we're trying to get you out like the normal, okay? I'm not trying to get you like super human. I'm just trying to get you like a
my bone density isn't what it used to be too. So I feel like I need to be taking like calcium, iron, vitamin D supplements because I don't get enough of that in my diet. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, fair.
Decompress on my dietary issues.
Yeah.
But
in other news, I started sewing with your mom.
Yes. She did.
That was so fun. She's so cute. I just really wanted to learn how to sew, and I was under the impression that your mom like knew, because she knows how to sew, but I thought she was like really, really into it in advance, and she was like, "Oh, I only know like the basics." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So she's teaching me the basics, and then we're gonna take a class together,
which is fun.
Which I offered you to partake in, but you're lame.
Here's my thing: is sewing like a passion of yours or something? Like, for you to take a class, like, I'm just curious, is it just like, oh, I just want to see how it goes, or like...
No, like, I have always, and my mom can't sew, she love her to death, but any, like, creative anything, she swears off. So, I've always wanted to learn how to sew, and I've always, like, because I love thrifting, I love, like, making my own things, I love, like, creating, and I've, like, my dream is to be able to, like, thrift something that I, like, can envision something else. Like, I see those videos, and people are so good at it, they'll, like, see the pattern, and it's, like, this kind of, like, really outdated, like, garment, and then they turn it into something, like, super trendy. I want to do that so bad.
But that's, like... Because I think that's cool too, and I would definitely like to learn. But like the fact that you're like taking a class makes you think like this, like you will at all costs learn how to sew, or is it like? But you are just more of an like I feel like you are. You'll sign up for things where for me I'm like, if I'm taking it like this is my life now, like I'm a sewer.
Yeah, I think it's maybe the ADHD in me, but I hyper focus on things.
Yeah.
So like I will hyper focus on like one thing at a time, and now it's sewing, and I think like because I usually stick with it all. Like I love being creative. I love like doing a bunch of different things, and so I think like right off the bat I'll like be really gung-ho about it, and then it'll kind of like emerge with the rest of my like projects and stuff. But
we also pick things up really fast, so I feel like for you it would be cool to be like, oh yeah, you could like pull out that skill.
Yeah, or just like be able to hem my own clothes. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Or if like something breaks, I don't know. I just feel like it's a skill. Like I'm really into like learning skills lately.
Yeah, I mean I think it's really cool, but I am just like it's not like something that I'm like dying. There's so many other things that I'd rather do that I don't think I can commit because time is limited. So I'm like I just feel like I wouldn't.
I do feel like I have no time ever, but
but she had fun. She really liked, you know, just spending time and sewing. And she doesn't really know what she's doing, but she's made like...
No, she actually does. She does not give her enough credit.
She can follow like a basic pattern. She's made like little aprons and pants and stuff. So she definitely is like, she can make stuff, but she doesn't like the method.
She teach me how to make an apron, so maybe next episode I'll wear
that would be really cute though. An apron is like useful.
I was talking to you earlier, but imagine like when we're moms and I can make us like matching mother-daughter outfits. That is so cute. Like tell me that's not cute. Like I'm like very, I don't know, I think it's just because like I like to be creative, but I love like the small details in like outfits and just life in general. I feel like there's so much to like elevating something really minuscule that like makes like it's so extra to do. Yeah. But then you do it and people are like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm like,
I think it's cool.
It took me hours.
Yeah. So now you and my mom just hang out without me, which is fine.
Hey, we extended the invite and you declined. So
I showed up for a little bit, but it's like I'm not signing up for the actual class though. It's like I'm not gonna spend.
It was $35.
Ooh, little Miss Richie.
Come on, I know you spent that on a DoorDash order
that you paid for. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, it's a time commitment. I like don't. It's like not that fun to me. Like I think it's cool, but it's like I'd rather there's things that I want to do that I haven't done, and I'm like if I sign up for a sewing class, that's just like a huge F you to this list of things I actually want to learn.
Editing these podcasts, so I can imagine that your free time kind of goes to that.
And I'm not an editor, so I'm sure the average person would do it like probably 80% faster than I'm able to do it,
But look at us now. We're learning.
Look at us now. No one's seen this yet.
I know. We've been working on this for so long. And we haven't even put out anything.
That's worth it, though. Better than, like, rushing and then putting out a piece of crap that we don't actually use.
That's true.
But
because we care about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, today's episode is about speaking up / having an opinion is kind of what we're going to talk about. Because obviously as doormats, we struggle with, like, stating an opinion or... I don't know what it is about just like, do you ever feel like you like have an opinion on something and then you just don't say it? Because
always.
I know.
I feel like that's just like
that's like your MO.
Yeah, because I don't know, especially when it's not something like that big of a deal. Like my dad has been really good about saying things like, "Don't let it steal your peace or rob your joy." But he is the type of person, like, when I grew up, he was a very uptight, angry man. So I think that's, like, a life lesson that he is really gradually learned. But when you start at, like, patient 0, that's, like, already extremely, like, hyper-aware of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes putting that lesson in your head just, like, increases that I won't say anything. And so I think sometimes I take it too far. Because even, like, there's that classic thing of, like, your hairstylist is, like, oh, do you like it? And you say like, oh my gosh, I love it. And like, you don't like it.
That's like a specific scenario though. Cause like, what do you gain from saying, I guess if you like knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like if she could cut a little bit more. Yeah. Like, but if she cut too much, like you saying like, yeah, you cut it too short.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? I guess like people that like are comfortable doing that, I just don't know what you gain in that situation.
Yeah, I think it's mostly like for, well, if you say you're unhappy with it or something, then, like, they can gauge for if you do come back to them. Because maybe you said, like, I want it shoulder length, and then they'll know to next time, like, have you point with your finger or, like, just to get that dialogue going. Or it is, like, the way that sometimes it's styled, because then they can ask, well, what don't you like about it? And you'd be like, I don't know, it looks really, like, short. And it's like, oh, well, it's just because I curled it out or something. Like, I'll curl them in or, like, there is, like, a link. You do have to have a relationship with your stylist, so I get it.
Even then, I can't. Like, I will say I love it every time.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, it's great. I like my stylist right now, though, because she's a friend of my sister's, and so she is very, like, as we go, and she gets it and stuff. But definitely in the past, like, I remember I used to, like, never get my hair done in a salon, because, you know, when you're a kid, it's just, like, my mom would just chop it off the ends if we needed it.
Yeah.
And I, like, never cut my hair, and I went to, like, a beauty school. She's going. I went to, like, a beauty school. And so there's like students and stuff. Yeah. And this one girl like was like washing my hair and stuff, and then she finished it, and then they're supposed to like style it, like blow dry it or something. And so she just did it with like a blow dryer, but didn't like pull it so it wasn't straight. And my hair is naturally obviously very wavy, so it was like pieces were straight and pieces had kinks, and it was just all like that. And then the girl, my mom knew her, and she was like, this girl is like notoriously lazy. And so the girl was like trying to talk it up to me. She's like, you know, they play her. She's like, I kind of like how, you know, some waves here, just like a little bit of waves mixed in. Like, it's kind of cute, because she didn't want to come through with the straightener. And then the professor comes around and like looks at your work, and she's like, are you going to finish her hair? She goes, we like it, right? To me.
And you said yes.
And I was like,
yeah, no, I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have said, especially if she's like getting approval from her professor, I would just be like, yeah, girl.
Yeah, that's great. That's the thing. It's like I was put really under the spot, but it was just like, I went home and straightened it myself. I was like, it's fine.
See, we have like a family friend as a hairstylist, and she's amazing. Like, she's so talented, and honestly, like, it's crazy. She's just really good. And she never does my, like, I always love my hair when she does it, but Yeah, I even if if she's watching that, no. But even if she did, like, I don't know, if she did like do something that I didn't like love, I wouldn't. But maybe it's different because she is like a friend. Like maybe I would feel like protecting her feeling. But honestly, just any stylist in general, I just don't think I have the guts to be like.
Which is part of their job, and they're literally trained. And I think we live in a bubble because we're so similar that we're like, yeah, who would do that? But a lot of people do it.
Yeah,
because it is just like, oh, you don't like let me flip it the other way. I'll like trim off a little bit more. Like it is just like
it's okay. That's what I'm trying to come to terms with in like our 20s is like it's okay to have an opinion on things. And I learned from my mom because she struggles with this too. It's like it's almost like you come off as like difficult or high maintenance if you have an opinion. So I'm constantly just like, oh no, like what, like whatever, like I'm not picky, like I'll do anything, like any restaurant, any this, even if I do have, which rarely do I have on like little things like that, I really don't mind. But there are sometimes it's like, oh, what do we want to do, this or that? And I'm like, oh, I don't care, literally anything. And then I have an opinion. I'm like, why can I just not like state the opinion? Yeah.
And it's also like, I'm not that unhappy. Like whatever the choices I was fine with, but it's kind of like, well, like you think you deserve to be able to pick like your number one instead of your number two sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, I think that's my thing is that I've been trying to say like, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like to them, it's not that deep. This is their job as long as I'm like polite or whatever. Or like, I've let them choose before, like I'll choose once. It's not that deep. Like I don't have to go home and think like everyone thinks I'm high maintenance or something. Yeah. But not that I do it. I'm just trying to be more aware of like that I can voice an opinion, but it's hard.
It shouldn't be hard though. Like that's what's so sad is because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't even have a second thought. Like I just have friends that are very like confident in themselves of like, yeah, no, I prefer this. Or, like, they'll even, like, go against the grain and be like, if everyone wants to do this, they'll be like, actually, like, I'd rather not. And then in my head, I get, like, anxiety about that. I'm like, oh, my gosh, they're, like, going, like, saying they don't want to do this and everyone else wants to. And then I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Especially when they're polite about it. It's, like, it is an eye-opener thing. Like, you, like, get that panic and then you see everyone else is, like, chill with it. Like, oh, yeah, no problem. And then I'm like, oh, that's, like, I didn't know that was an option. Like, it's kind of inspiring.
I know. Like, I know. But do you have any other like specific examples of?
No, do you?
No. No, not really. So I guess we could just go into so our like game that we're gonna play is what would it take? So essentially we're gonna explain scenarios of like what would it take to, for example, like speak up at a hair salon. Yeah. So like they'd have to really like for me to like say I really hate it, they'd have to like cut it way too short. So something like or dye it like the wrong color.
Yeah. And these have been like, we've done these before as like just jokes to each other because we've like been genuinely curious about what would it take for you to like send an order back or like to confront a friendship. Like, so these can be really wide ranging. And this is like actual stuff that we do to each other. So this is beyond just a game for this podcast.
No, we've
like,
done this before just in the car.
It's an exercise.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And
it's
also
just
sad.
It's like we gauge each other's like, okay, let's see where we're at. If any growth happens.
Yeah.
And then I'll send the results to your therapist and you can send yours to mine.
Yeah, okay.
Just kidding. All right. You can go first because I just did that.
What would it take for you to raise your voice at someone?
That's a really broad.
It's up to our interpretation.
No, you need to give me some more details.
Here's actually, I have a preferencing question. When's the last time you've like raised your voice at someone? Because if I think about it, I don't know.
Raised my voice at someone?
Yeah, like to the point of almost yelling.
I literally don't know.
I know.
I'm like, I definitely am like, I'm a pretty like, if people don't know me, they definitely think I'm like quiet, but like my friends know that if I'm telling a story, I get really loud.
Okay, not that. I'm saying like in a confrontation.
Like directly to the person.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I actually don't know. I can't even think of a time.
I know. I was also trying to think about it.
I've gotten worse as I've gotten older. Like, I don't even bring up the things now. So, like, how would I get to the point of, like, an actual argument?
Yeah, I think I've told you this before, but I have friends that are in relationships where they'll yell at their significant other, like, in front of people. And I've witnessed it, and it's the most, like, you, like, feel like a child. You're like, oh my gosh, like, they're yelling at each other. Like, it makes me so physically uncomfortable. Yeah. But that's like a norm for a lot of relationships. No, I wouldn't say like a lot, but like that is a norm for some relationships.
I don't really agree with that because I think that there is a form of like you're kind of humiliating someone publicly if you're yelling at your significant other in public, because then tensions are raised. I don't think that's really like, I don't think you should ever be like actually yelling at someone. Usually there's not a lot of scenarios that warrant that, but as far as like raising my voice and being firm with someone, I literally can't even. I literally can't. I'm trying to go back to like middle school. I'm like, I don't even think I could like think of anything.
I think the only thing I could think of was when I worked at a summer camp. I lived in the bunk with the girls. I had like 9 like 12-year-old girls, which was a lot. And there was one, and I would never like because I mean I really don't believe in yelling at children, because like I was such a shy child that like if I was ever yelled at, that like that like stuck with me. So I like never, and sometimes to get their attention though, like because I coach soccer too. That's like what I did at the camp. And so you would have to like I wouldn't really count like yelling on the soccer field just to like get a large group of children like attention. But in the bunk, I'm trying to think, there was one night they just like would not go to bed, and we had to be up so early the next day. And I think that was the one time I like raised my voice, and because I had never, they all were like, it worked. Like they were like, and they immediately just like went to bed, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that was weird. Like,
okay, I guess, well that's different because I thought you were talking about like peers.
Okay, well I was trying to think, and I don't think I ever yelled at like.
That's like the closest you can like get to. Okay, because I did coach volleyball, and so sometimes I mean like I would yell for instructions, but I was never like mean with my girls. But there was one time when they were being they were being like a little bit disrespectful, because like there was some that we were supposed to all stay and clean, and they decided to like go and laugh and like let the rest of the group do it, and then I had to like say like, come over here, like you're staying after practice to run laps, like that's unacceptable or whatever. But I didn't like yell at them, but it was like I had to confront. I don't know, I think that doesn't count, but like,
okay, I'll move on. So I don't think either of us have.
So we suck. We're not good. Okay. How much would it cost, like a store mischarging you for you to go back versus just paying it and being like whatever? So like if a store mischarged you like $2, like you bought a t-shirt that was supposed to be on sale for $15 and it was still at the like regular price of like $17. Would you, for that specific amount, would you just keep it, or?
I guess it would depend. It's not because I'm like a doormat, but if I was like still at the mall, let's say, or something, and I noticed, then I think I would like go try and like just ask about it. Because I don't feel like that's super confrontational, but I feel like if I was already home and it was like $2, I'd be like, okay, it's more effort for me to like go back. What about you?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like as it's ringing up, because I just look at things, I'll be like, oh, I thought like that was on sale or whatever. And then if they're like, oh no, it's not, if I really liked it, I would just be like, I guess if I really liked it and I even saw it, I probably wouldn't say anything, because I'm like, well, I'm going to buy it regardlessly. So like,
you wouldn't even ask?
If I really like if I knew for sure I wanted to buy it, and if it was a $2 difference, no. If it was like a $10, $20 difference on like a bigger ticket item, then I would be like, oh, I thought like that was on sale. And then if they were like, oh, it's not, then I would be like, oh, I can't afford it, like I'll take it off or something. But
okay, well let me ask you this. Let's say the cashier was like new and she didn't know really how to work the cash register, and she accidentally charged you like $2 extra and she didn't know how to change it.
If it was oh, so she knows it's a mistake and she does not change it?
You both acknowledge it's a mistake. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how to do returns. My manager isn't here.
I would say it's
yeah.
As soon as you started explaining it, I'm like, so she's aware and she's already told me she's not, and there's nothing like.
I'm so bad when people are apologetic. I just cave. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's totally fine. Like it's good.
$2. That's the thing. Is like it's $2. It feels like more if you're like at like a coffee shop and you buy a $4 drink and then they like that's like upcharging you 50%. Yeah. But if it's like one of those like, I don't know how to fix it. Like I'm not gonna. And also me, I'm like I don't want to be around when like all these people get involved to fix this $2. Yeah. I'm like I don't want them to think I'm broke. No, I let that go. No, for sure. All right, next one.
Okay. This one's also really broad.
Okay.
What would it take for you to be a Karen?
Ooh. Yeah,
so
this
I guess
would
you'd
have to be
think
really
of,
case specific.
Yeah.
Because it would not... There's not much unless I come in and immediately the person working customer service has an attitude with me. That always rubs me the wrong way because, like, I always say, I'm like, I think everyone needs to work a customer service job for, like, 2 weeks at least. If you've never had for like, money, you should just do it just to gain some empathy. Yeah. So I know what it's like, and I do know, like, you gotta put on nice, like, happy attitude.
And sometimes just have bad days, too.
Have bad days and stuff. But I think because I put up with so much, if I came in and was immediately very polite and I was, like, not messing up their piles and stuff, and then they just had an attitude with me, that rubs me the wrong way. I don't think I would ever say anything like, it's your job to like this. Like, I wouldn't say anything, but in my mind, I would feel a little bit of, like, my mental state would be, Karen, like, you're supposed to be helping me, and, like, you have an attitude, and, like, I'm not even doing anything wrong. Like, I'm the one who's here to buy something, so... mentally I might have like a little bit of a Karen attitude. Do you think you would ever be Karen for something?
No, because I get such like I get such like anxiety about ever coming across, because again I have like done customer service jobs, and I know what it's like to have like someone be so unreasonable. So I try to be like overly accommodating, sometimes to the point where it's like you don't have to like, apologize like a million times or things like that. I think the only time, I don't even think I would qualify this being a Karen, but the only time I've like talked back to someone that's been like rude is when I've been like playing soccer, and like not even when I played like collegiate soccer, and more so just like the rec leagues I play on now. Sometimes you get girls, like full grown women who are like so bitchy for no reason, and there was this one, it's like it happens a lot actually, more than you would think, where they'll say something or they'll be yelling at the ref who's a like not doesn't get paid enough to be like to deal with that. Like this is not like the World Cup, like can we all just settle down? They're like yelling at him. That rubs me the wrong way, because I'm like, just like, and it's like over the most ridiculous thing. It attracts rec soccer at an adult level attracts the most psychotic people. I will die on that hill. Like the most like think that they are like the next like Mbappe or something. And so she said something and like slammed against a wall, and she said something, and then I said check the scoreboard or something. I'm super petty. I know, and I was like
hey, where's my
that's like so cringy. I think I said something else to her because I was so mad, but I was like, man. And then afterwards I'm like, really, did I need to like talk back? Like, because honestly it just plays more into it, and I don't want to give them more attention. Like, I'd rather just not. But sometimes it gets so heated in the heat of
I'm kind of proud of you. That was low stakes, so it's not like that was gonna be like come back and bite you later. Like, and I feel like you were reacting to a Karen though. Like, you weren't really being. I feel like the girl was probably being Karen for being like ref and like. Yeah,
that's fair.
But yeah, I do want to come see your rec soccer games, because the way you describe it is just like so like it's grown people.
Hilarious. Yeah, it's so much entertainment sometimes.
When soccer's a growing sport, so I feel like it's funny because just by inadvertently knowing soccer's on the rise, that makes me like a little bit cooler, because I'm like, oh yeah, like you kind of get a little bit of, I don't know.
Yeah, if you ever want to people watch, just go watch.
That's true, because I do like to people watch.
It's so interesting.
Or like, I like to write down like little bits that I think are like interesting about people.
That would be great content.
I'm gonna write that down. Wait, a show something about a rec soccer league. It's like Ted Lasso, but the stakes are so much lower.
No, for real. The characters that attract it's wild. I would love you. We should interview a rec soccer ref and just hear this. I know they have crazy stories.
Bring them.
Yes. Like, tell me all of your stories. Because there was one game we played and we were winning like 10-2, and they went after. They were so mad and said the ref was like, because literally what had happened is the ref had called something that we felt like wasn't fair, and so my brother on the sideline was like, yo, ref, that was like a little soft. And he was like, no, I know, like I'm just giving it to them because he was kind of just saying, like, I was giving it to them because they're complaining so much. And we're just like, okay, yeah, no, totally understandable. Like, this is kind of crazy. Because they had been crazy the whole time. And then they took that as, you guys are friends with the ref. And, like, you're in with the ref. And they were, like, going at the ref, being like, this isn't fair. And they went to punishment
No
after
way.
the game. I was like, this poor ref. I was like, we said like 2 sentences and we were just trying to be like, yeah totally understandable. Like, sorry, this is a rough game.
It's not like you went over and like held each other.
Like, what up, dog? Like, the crazy thing is like at the like place I play at, it is common to be friends with, like, you know, you see them all the time. They play, like, a lot of them will play.
That's the thing. It's like, that it all boils down to, we are not professional. Like, I get, even like college, I get like there is some like tenseness because it is like more serious, but it is like, this is like, people are here voluntarily. Like, they're here for fun.
Yeah,
for fun. I cannot believe that they complained to the, did they lose? Is that why?
Yeah, they lost. And like, it wasn't like it was a 1 game or 1 goal difference. It was like they lost badly. And their goalie halfway through the game just left. He was so fed up. He said bye to our bench. He was like, see you guys, good luck with the rest of the game. And he left. God. And we took that as like, he was just done.
That's dramatic. I have to go watch this now. Is your mom go outside with your mom?
Sometimes she goes.
Me and your mom will hang out.
Yeah.
With that. Just kidding.
Honestly.
That is really funny though. I wrote down a bunch of stuff from that. But oh dang, why were we talking about that?
Karens. Being a Karen.
Being a Karen. Yeah, okay.
If you want to see some Karens, come to
very interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, next scenario. Okay. A coworker blames you for not getting a project done on time. And it was more of a miscommunication. So, like, you could have maybe been at fault because you didn't have something done, like, straight away. But it was, like, you misunderstood what they were asking or something. So you're like, oh, yeah, but then you guys just got something done, like, a little bit later. And instead of just turning it in together as a team, they, like, threw you under the bus a little. Like, sorry, Jenna didn't get me the files. So this is late. Instead of just being like, here's this, sorry, it's late. And then if they asked questions, you know.
See, that's one of those scenarios.
I'm talking about the corporate world now. Yeah. This is like stuff I've been in.
Because that's literally, I'm pretty sure that's happened to me before. And I think it's something that I internalize and I get like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they threw. Because I really hate when people throw anyone under the bus.
We're a team, you know?
Or just communicate. And and so that really bothers me. But again, I think I'd really struggle to say anything, like to like rectify the situation, so to be like, no, that wasn't my fault, like to stand up for myself, like that'd be really, I don't know if I would do it.
I think the only time, like, unless, I think that's what bothers me about this specific scenario I wrote, is if they like immediately were like, oh, well, like, you didn't get the thing done, that's why. And it's like, no one has even complained, you know? If it's like your boss is like attacking and being like, this is late, then I feel like there is something like, I'm so sorry, like, I didn't get these files quite. It's like, well, why didn't you get those on time? Well, then you could be like, well, they were sent at this time, but you don't have to like attack someone's character. But before anything has even been said, I think that's dumb. And I will say, like, everyone I've worked with has been really nice and stuff, but it is just like a corporate world where sometimes you can see people do that, because it usually is like, I'm very thankful I have 2 like women bosses that are moms, and like they get the like work-life balance, and as long as you keep them in the loop, like there's never an issue. That's why I'm just like, I don't think anyone should start throwing someone under the bus.
No. I actually have kind of a story about that.
Oh, really?
It's not corporate, but when I worked at a coffee shop in college.
Yes.
Oh,
I remember.
I had I like rarely have coworkers that I didn't like at least get along with. Like, it's not like you're best friends, but it's like, okay, you can work together. Yeah. It's a coffee shop, like whatever. There was this one girl that drove me nuts. Like, I could not stand her.
Let's say her name on the comment.
No, she was just, I don't know. It was just like very hard to work with her. And I was a manager. I was a student manager at that point. So
you were.
No.
Jenna's the boss.
Don't cheers to that.
Quick. She's doing.
No, because I will say, I think now I'm
that should be a bit we do more often. Because why do we have these?
I don't know. We're trying to think of new things to put there. But anyway, at that time, I don't think I should have been a manager. I like worked hard and everything, but I was not good enough. Like, I was not confident enough to like tell other people what to do. I'm like a lot better at it now, but at that time, no. Yeah. And so I think she knew that. She knew that I was like a pushover and whatever. And so she, like, for whatever reason, I think she didn't like me because I was friends with another girl that worked at the coffee shop that she really didn't like, and she saw us like getting.
I hate
it was something really petty,
yeah.
And so I could kind of sense, because at first like there was no issues, like we were fine, and then all of a sudden one day she just like flipped and like was just really short with me, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then we were working, and my manager is there. Like, she was there in the morning. She would leave towards the afternoon, and she was there like helping out the shift, because during like rush hours, like when classes end, it would get the line would get like super long. You'd have to be like sweating at that point. You had to be like working really fast. And she I was like, not to like be arrogant, but I was like fast. I was like, I could make the drinks fast. And so she was on cash register or whatever, and there was like a system, like usually you had like a different system for every like person you worked with. You kind of figured like what they were like to do or what they were good at, and you would kind of just like work together. Like, you don't wash the cups right away. You kind of just like let them pile up for a second if there's like a huge rush, and then at the end of the rush you know, wash them all, whatever. For whatever reason, I had left this like cup on the counter, literally one cup, and then I think there was another cup in the sink. There was a cup on the counter, a cup in the sink, and I had left it because I was trying to like crank out like these, I think it was like 5 orders. There was 5 people in line. I was like, hey, we're just gonna crank them out, everyone can get their drink, then I'll wash. She turns to me, has a cup, she's like washing a cup in the sink, turns to see the cup on the counter, grabs the cup in front of my boss, goes, Jenna, I need to talk to you. Literally out loud. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I need your help here. I can't be washing dishes this entire shift.
Oh,
my jaw. I was so close to going off, but I knew if I started going off, I wouldn't stop. So I was like, I took a breath and I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I can wash that one. And I like grabbed it from her, and then I started washing it, and I was livid. I didn't talk to her for the rest of the shift, but I didn't say anything. And like, honestly, I wish I would have. I wish have been like, I made all of these drinks while you were just running the cash register. Like, are you kidding me?
Or anything. Yeah, that is like bold.
Yeah, and then another time, like there's another shift that she had this photography project due.
I remember this.
Oh my gosh, Amelia, I was in the same photography class like a semester later, but she was like, it's our semester project. I'm doing a photo series on coffee drinks. Like, I'm gonna take a picture of every drink I make this shift, and that's gonna be my photo series. Not to shit on anyone's idea, like, okay, you can make that creative if that's what you really.
No, that's stupid.
If that's what you really want to go with, you can work with that.
That's true. Like, if you put some thought and stuff into it, you could make it cool. I believe that.
Or like take a picture of the person I don't know. There's ways you can make it creative.
It's just thoughtfulness.
Yeah, no, it was thrown together. Like, her shift was before that class. Yeah. So they had, because I was in that class, they had every like month you'd have a check-in on like how's your series going. She had a check-in that like day, and so she's doing the photos that day, and she just tapes up like a white piece of paper and puts the cup in front of the paper, and I'm like, we would have rushes, and people are looking at us like, why are you taking the time to take a picture of my drink when I need to get to class? Like, I don't want to wait in this line. People are looking at us, and it's making me uncomfortable, because I'm like, okay, let's. And then she was insistent on, I'm making all the drinks this shift because I need to take as many photos as possible.
That's so stupid.
And so I was just like, so you're going to do that to me, and then you're going to throw me, what do you call it?
Under the bus.
To my boss. I was just like, oh, I was too nice to her.
Yeah. Well, didn't you say that like the piece of paper like didn't fully cover so you could take the background and some? I'm like, all right, come on. Like, I think that would drive me crazy.
I had a friend in that class, and she was like, no way, that's your coworker. Like, we went through, like, they had to present their photos, like, and they went through, and my professor was like the chillest dude, and even he was like, this seems thrown together like last minute. I was like, for him to say that, like, it had to have been pretty bad. I was just like, oh my god,
that is so.
But yeah, all that to say is I didn't even confront her. And what would it take for you to quit on the spot?
Ooh, I dream about this so often. I don't know, because I've never done it. Like, I always give the 2 weeks notice, and even then I'm like super nervous. I feel like someone would have to physically assault me, and I've thought about this before with certain people in my life, where it's like I'm almost like praying for the day that they physically lay hands on me, because then no one can say shit to me. Like, true. Then I can do whatever I want. I can call the police on them and just be done with it. So I feel like probably that, or if they, I don't know, I was going to say if they like said like something like racially, you know, charged, or like about my family or something. But even then I feel like I would just try and like report it and see if I could get help first. Like, I don't know what I would do to quit on the spot. I think if someone like swung hands on me, I would be like, and I didn't do anything wrong in my opinion, I would be like, all right, I gotta go. Like, I'm done.
I feel like my answer would be kind of similar.
Yeah.
I'd have to be like,
like, that's the whole thing. It's like, what would it take to quit? Like, maybe, you know, other things, but like on the spot, I think I would always try and like talk to someone first or see if I could figure it out. I'm not good at like, and we're also both not really like, for like things like that, we're not really like quitters, because it's like,
I think it would stress me out to like not have a plan. Like, I think I would rather, I always kind of take the route of like, I want things set in place, and then I want to do it. If I'm gonna be petty, then I want it to be on like my terms. I don't want it to be like out of a reactionary thing. Like, if I'm gonna be petty and like want to see someone like I could quote unquote like get revenge, I guess it would be so like I would be super pissed off at like some scenario, wait on it, get a plan in place, get a new job, and then like when they're in like a tight situation, I'd be like, okay, quit. Like, I think if I were to be petty, I'd be like that. But
she's playing the long game.
I'm very
I'll drink to that. I'm just kidding. I won't do it again.
I think that would be my route.
I think that makes sense for us. I'll be excited to see what our listeners say instead. Was that your last one?
I have one more.
You have one more? Okay. Okay. This will be my last one then. Okay. So let's say you have, I know you're not a dog person, but bear with me. Okay. Let's say you have your dog at like the park, and it's supposed to be like dogs on leash at all times, and you were trying to like clip it and like adjust their harness, and it accidentally let go, and your dog accidentally got loose in the park. It was an accident. You go to like grab him or whatever, and then someone else sees it and goes up and yells at you and is like, you're supposed to have your dog on a leash, don't you know anything, or this and this and that. It was an accident, but you were technically in the wrong. Would you be like, I feel like we would both say, I'm sorry, but like, let's say they really went in on you and just were like, you idiot, why would you do that? Gosh. Like, would you be like, listen, dude, do you think I tried to do that? Or would you just be like, I'm so sorry, like,
if they were really being like really persistent and like were harassing me at that point, I think I would be like, okay, I said I'm sorry, what else do you want me to do? Like, there's literally nothing else I can do. I thought you were gonna say a situation where a dog like attacked my dog, and I think at that point I would be pissed. I will say I'm better at standing up for things I care about than like myself, which I don't know what that says.
That's why I made these inward focus, because I think we're both the same.
If like, especially with like kids or like my family or my pets, that's when I will like go off. Not really go off, but like that's where I would consider.
Let's say a dog attacked me.
I would stick up. If something happened, if someone did something to you, I would go off. Don't worry.
It'd be easy. I feel like it'd be easier for me to go off for you than for myself.
I think I would just feel more justified, because like in my head, if I'm trying to stick up for myself, I'm like, okay, well,
you're being hot-headed. Like, I would like start to say things about that.
But if it's someone I like really love and care about, I would be like, okay, no, fuck off. Like, don't talk to my mom like that. Have you seen that viral video of like, what is it called, like the porta potty stomper? Like, there's this girl at a festival, and her mom was using the bathroom, and I think she accidentally cut the line. She didn't realize it. Goes into the porta potty, and this like college age girl like tries to fight this girl's mom, this girl stomps her into the porta potty.
That's so
and she was wearing
funny.
a romper, and it was called like the romper stomper, and she got like viral. I was like, that I would do that. Like, if someone put hands on my mom, I would not hesitate.
Girl put hands on the mom?
Yes, this random like girl that thought her mom like put hands on her, and I was like, if you put hands on my mom, I will. I will curb stomp the fuck out of you.
Oh my gosh. That is when it's like, that's when I want to just be like, it's not that deep, guys. You have to wait 20 more seconds to go to the bathroom. Or like, say something like, oh, sorry, like, you know, the line's back there. Like, again, that's my whole thing. When you come in so hot, when no one has started it.
Don't be surprised when.
Just don't. But as far as I want to watch that video later. But as far as just like your dog got loose and someone, like, you just be like, sorry.
Yeah, I would just apologize. Because if it's my fault, if it's ever my fault, then, like, I just feel like I can't argue. Yeah. Like, I just feel uncomfortable arguing because it's like, okay, well, it was my fault. Yeah. And even if the reaction to it is, like, crazy insane, then it's like, I don't even know what I could say. It's like, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I would do the same thing. I say this because a situation like this happened. My older sister we were just, like, hanging out at my parents' house, and we have, like, this, like, medium-sized dog, and he's really anxious, so, like, he will, like, you know, sometimes if other dogs get too close, like, he barks and barks. He's never, like, bitten anyone. He's just very afraid all the time, so he barks a lot. And she put him in, like, a basket, like, for a bike, and was, like, riding around the neighborhood with him, and he really liked it. Like, he was just having fun and, like, going around. Yeah. There's this, like, notoriously cranky, just bitch-ass old neighbor man. Yeah. And he's, like, you know, part of, like, the HOA he used to be that was, like, just really snooty. And he has, like, this prize. He, like, is in love with his dog, I swear. It's, like, one of those, like, lion-looking dogs. Yeah. So it's definitely bigger. Like, it's, like, this. And then, like, our dog is, like, this. Yeah. And he was walking with it. And there was, like, a car was coming, and then he was coming, and my sister was riding with the bike, so everyone was coming to this stop, like, all at once. Mm-hmm. And so my sister had to brake kind of hard, but then she tipped a little bit, and then our dog fell out of the basket. So then he was wearing a leash, but he fell out of the basket and stumbled, like, right in front of this bigger dog. Oh, wow. And so then he got kind of scared, and then both the dogs started barking at each other. And so then my sister's trying to grab the leash because it's right there. Mind you, the man has his dog on a leash. He should have just turned the other way. Yeah. Or his wife should have blah, 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 blah. Just, like, looking and you could see that our dog was, like, he was barking, but, like, his feet were back, and he was barking like this. Like, he was scared. He was, like, shaking. Yeah. If he, like, lunged at the dog, then you know, like, obvious, like, there's a difference in the barks or whatever. Yeah. And the freaking neighbor goes, and my sister's, like, scrambling, trying to get the thing. And I watched it happen because I was walking, like, this way. And he goes, he looks around. He's not doing anything. He kicks our dog to, like, move him away. No. And then my sister, like, finally gets a hold of him, and he goes, that was a stupid idea, and, like, kind of, like, spits it at her and, like, walks away. And I was like, what? I was like, what did he say to you, Lisa? And she was so upset. She was, like, crying. She felt so bad. This little, like, just stupid, crotchety old man. I was like, your dog is way bigger than if damage was gonna happen, it's gonna be from your dog. They were both barking. Our dog wasn't moving. He was off leash, but he wasn't, like, he was just barking and, like, was, like, just trying to, like, ward them off because he got so freaked out. Your dog is bigger. Don't you dare kick our dog. Like, you did not help because his wife was the one, like, holding their dog. Calm your dog down. And then, like, we're getting ours. Or you could have helped her get the leash because Elisa was getting the leash. He just, like, kicked our dog. Ridiculous. I was like, oh, I didn't stand that, man.
And it's like, okay, I'm sorry, but you're an old man and you're going to talk to, like, a young girl like that. Like, oh, that makes me so mad.
Our whole family hates this man. He's always just such a dick. Like, he will, like, go out of his way to be grumpy to people, and, like, if you wave hi, he, like, will just look at you and not wave back, and you're like, that's so weird. Like, you're just you have to just grumpy.
Think he's probably very miserable in his life.
I know.
It's like you almost have to feel bad for him.
But yeah, that was one of those times when it was like, I kind of wish I would have heard what he said, because then I feel like I would have been able to stand up, but I, like, didn't really see what was going on until later. But cannot stand that man.
That's shout him
out. My parents are retiring age soon. They'll move from that neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more.
Okay.
What would it take for you to ghost someone?
I've done it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm not proud of it, but it was back when I worked at Kohl's. There was, like, some guy, and, like, we kind of liked each other. We went on, like, one date, and it did not go well. And it was when I was thinking about transferring to MSU, when we were walking around campus, and he was one of those guys that would, like, just randomly yell out, "Go green!" to, like, see if someone would yell, and someone would yell, like, "Go white!" And, it was, like, multiple times, and I was like, please stop. Because I'm also not, I was like, I went to community college, because I'm not really, like, a school pride type of person, and he would not stop doing it, and I was like, you need to stop. And then he was one of those things where, you know when you're, like, in middle school, and you think you're so funny, and, like, you walk by and you listen to someone's conversation and they're like on the phone and they're like, so then I told them you need to stop that. And then you and your friends go, yeah, I totally said to stop that. Like you pretend like you're talking to them. He would do that to people as you're walking by. And I was just like, and the thing is he would keep doing it. And I was like, I don't know how many more pained laughs I have left.
Yeah. Oh, when you have to fake laugh, that's the worst.
And it was a tour. So we were like walking around. Like I need to get back to my car. It's a big campus. And then he just kept being like, oh man, like, getting kind of hungry, and I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry at all. I'm like, there's no way this is turning into a dinner afterwards. Yeah. So we finally left, and then he just kept Snapchatting me, and I would just give him really like short, like one word, like polite, like, like, because I like did volleyball or whatever, like coaching. He's like, oh, you keeping up with volleyball? No, not really. This is this. Fine, thanks. Like I would not respond back, and he just did not get the hint, and I just had to like stop responding because it was so continuous that it went on for a long time. And I felt bad about it, but I was like, I don't know, we're just not. And we didn't work together anymore, so I wasn't gonna see him anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet technically I guess ghosted one guy, but in my head it wasn't ghosting. Yeah. But apparently he took it as like, okay, do you consider this ghosting? We had like kind of been talking prior to Christmas break, which is like at college, like you'd go home, and I'm not from where my school was, so I would go home for like a 3 weeks.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm notoriously not good at like responding to text, especially snaps, because like it's just not a priority. I'm sorry, like I check it like once every few days. I don't keep streaks, like it's just I don't check it that often. So he had like, and okay, at this point I did know. I guess it is ghosting in the way that I didn't like tell him over text that I like wanted to just be friends or whatever, but it was more so like I kind of just thought it was gonna fizzle. It was not that serious before break, and I thought it was just gonna fizzle out over break. You know, you get busy, family, everything. Then it's like, okay, well if it starts up after break, then okay, but if not, it's like okay, whatever. Wasn't that deep to me. Yeah. He had sent me a text, a snap, and we were like snapping back and forth a bit, and then he said something like, you know, just a okay. Yeah. Didn't answer that because it's like, then I have to initiate the conversation again. Didn't really feel the need to do that. So I just left him on red. He didn't snap, like, he didn't double snap me. He didn't, like, he just left it. So then we didn't talk the rest of the break. And then he told my friend, like, and she told me that he was like, yeah, Jenna, like, ghosted me. And I feel like it's really immature. And I was like, is that ghosting though?
No, I don't think that's ghosting. That's just, like, the conversation naturally ended. And there wasn't enough chemistry to start it back up.
Yeah, like if you really wanted something, you would have initiated. Yeah. But I mean, I was glad he didn't because I wasn't like that into him. But yeah.
I'm also just not like we don't really text for conversation that much.
No.
Like, especially if it's someone that I'm like, you know, just becoming friends with or something, I'm very much like, we can meet up time to hang out or talk in person, but the texting, I really don't.
Yeah. That's why even just like, it's so painful to start like in the talking stages with someone, because it's like that doesn't excite. Like I know for a lot of people sometimes it's like, oh, like you're texting back and forth, you're getting to know each other.
I can't. It like makes me cringe. And I just like
literal hell.
I hate my phone. Like I like hate when it keeps I get mad. Like I want to like throw it across the room, because especially if it's something not important, I'm like, I don't care. Like it would either just like we can talk in person, unless there's like tea, unless there's real tea or a little joke and stuff, but then it needs to stop. Like I'm done with the like, don't start it up with the
like
whole,
the 21 questions kind of thing, and then you're like thinking about how you're responding because you're not super comfortable with them yet, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I just rather not. So it's like I'd rather just not.
Yeah, that's why I just feel like I'm kind of like old, where it's like you can text me to plan something, but I don't really want to hear.
That otherwise. Is so old though, because like the younger generation
is like that is. It's like
constantly. Texting just feels so dry to me sometimes. Or maybe I'm just like not.
I need an actual, like, there needs to be a topic to the conversation, otherwise we're not. Even with friends, it's like I don't text them for forever, and then when we have something to talk about, it's like and then we just don't talk for weeks on end again. So it's fine. But
it's a preference thing, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, it looks like we're still doormats for the most part.
Yeah. Maybe we should like, you know, do this episode in like 6 months and see where we're at.
Yeah, maybe we'll get better at it.
We are okay. Here's the thing though. We need to set some goals. Like how are we gonna overcome
I don't know. I thought that It's just a name, Jenna. We just need we want to do
I thought the goal
name.
was
Why do we have to work
we're,
ourselves?
we're growing, and then our audience can grow with us.
Yeah. Okay. Send us your advice at our email. Your local. Wait. What is it?
yourlocaldoormats
at gmail.com. Send us some things. Send us some of your guys' scenarios when you've broken out of the doormatness, or give us your opinions on what you would have done in these scenarios instead.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And with that, I think we're done for this episode.
I think we're done. I'm sorry to disappoint anyone that was expecting more from us, but we'll get there. Shake your head.
It's just a name. I don't want to make any promises. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
That was pitiful.